Hi everyone, our app is called Bruin Care. I will do a brief introduction of our project. During the pandemic time, we would like to build a platform that encourages peer learning, networking, and allow students to showcase their project. Our goal is to build a supportive community where students can expand their network, learn new skills, and build up their portfolio. Also, it's the gateway to bring students too closely the recruiter to find a dream job. Here are some architectures and technology we used. We will introduce these in detail later. Here are some features supported by our app. User can register a new account with their email and log in with their created account. User can create and edit their portfolio. User can upload, edit, and delete their projects. User can search project by category, title, and contributors. Also, user can check site map by using Google Map API. If user have any questions, they can contact our team via email JS system.
Hi, my name is Yato, and now I will try to run a short demo of our project. So whenever user go to our website, you can see the landing page here. In the system, we try to separate the permission set to the system between the user account and the normal user who don't have any account. But by the way, for the normal user, they can also check for the site map here to see the map location. We're going to use the Google Map API to hook into our project. Let's see here, this is a UCLA location, as well as this is my home. So also the user can click the option as basic of the Google Map API here. So this is for the sitemap component. The other thing, the normal user can click here to see the private policy of our project, as well as they can check for contact form, if they want to have any question or for some reason. For this one, we also try to check the violation. This one, I'm going to try to test. As you can see here, we also check for violation of email. So we have to validate email. So after that, I'm going to check the email system to make sure I receive this email from the user. As you can see here, I received a message from the user with have email, and this is a message. So this works for the email or contact form. The normal user can click here to see briefly about us. As well as they can go to the homepage to search the other project of the other people. For example, here for contributor, I can search for this contributor. I'm going to show every project related to contributor. So this one you can say, they can check for this one. For example, they can click here, go to directly the link of the project demo of this project, something like that. Or they can click here to edit or view, because they are not the owner of this project, so that's why they cannot modify, but they can comment. Also comment. As you can see here, I'll try to put into the project. So this is for the normal user. By the way, if they want to register into the system, they can check here. They also they can go to this one to register account. So for this one, we also check the validation for the register component. And now my teammate will talk about the register component as well as the login at the user account.
Hi, I'm Elijah. I worked on the front end of Bruin Career, namely the register page, some of the buttons down at the footer of the page, and for the text field validation across the site. So if we go through and create a new user real quick. Let's say we try and submit without a password. You see that there are some errors or error messages that pop up with the text boxes, so we'll just set a password real quick. So Now that we've logged in, we can, or created a user rather, we can log in now. Again, if we try to submit preemptively without all the fields being filled properly, then we'll also get an error here. So now we've signed in, we're at the home page. On the home page, again, this is one of those places that you can see some of that validation where we can't actually complete a search without both selecting a filter and entering some search terms. So if we look for, say, Bruin, we can find Bruin Career here. Finally, in terms of functionalities, I also added the sign out button, which will effectively sign the user out and allow you to sign back in as a different user. Code-wise, for the register page, we created it using these Material UI text fields, which all have this component here, or these two lines here rather, which will conditionally set whether there is an error, which turns the text box red, and will display the helper text if we give it any. The helper text is conditionally added based on whether those fields are empty or not, and in the case of the email address, it will check if the email has an @ sign, and if it has multiple @ signs, it's also considered to be invalid. In order to check if the form is valid before trying to submit it to the server and create a new user, we will check if there is helper text for any of these things here. So first name, last name, all of those need to be completely free of errors before we'll actually submit, as you could see in the previous demo.
Hey, I'm Keenan. I help to work on the front end of Bruin Career. I help design the home page, the project page, and the portfolio page. Currently, I'm logged in under my username Keenan Swenson. So let's first look at the portfolio page. This page displays all the user's information as well as their projects. The user can actually update the information at any time. So if I edit my username and birthday, save it, you can see that it actually saved the birthday and the username was changed. Okay, if we wanted to actually add a project, we can click Add Project here or click Project here. And then we fill in some of the text fields here. My project. And then click Finish. We can now actually view our project under our portfolio. If I click this, it'll go to the link I provided, which is the GitHub to our project. And then I can actually edit and view it, which will go here, and then I can edit to, let's say, 2.0, update it, go back to the portfolio, and it will be updated. If we head to the home page is essentially a way to search all projects by project title, contributors, or category. We can also use these category cards to search all projects made under engineering, for example. You can remember we made our project under engineering, so we can actually edit it from here and update it and delete it. Another thing is we have the search bar. So we can search by project title. We can look up ours, search Bruin, and there's ours. We can also search up contributors. So if we search someone like Ted, we can see all projects made by Ted. Here's the actual code for the portfolio, add project, and home pages. We mainly used Material UI components like box, grid. Text field was a big one. Text field we used to make the input fields for like username, the search bar, that sort of stuff. And then for each kind of input field, we have these variables like first name, last name, so that we can store and update the actual variables to the backend. And then if we go to the actual render, you can see the input fields. This is for the portfolio page, as well as the project display. You can see we can use the grid here, and it maps to the different projects depending on how many we have. And it's all very similar stuff in the add project with the text fields, as well as the home with the text field and project display.
So let's move over to the backend side. And firstly, for for the whole system, we have two main functions. One is project and one is user. That's why for the backend, we created two schemas. So we treat each schema as basically as a separate tables, one for storing the project information as shown here, and one is storing all the user information. And for the user, I have created a delete function, but at this point we're not planning to let users to do it by themselves, and this function will be implemented later, and it should be easy because we already do the whole thing, and by just uncommenting it, the functions will work just fine. And for the project, I have do a search function, and originally we have two search functions. One is searching the whole thing, and the other one is just for searching for the category, because we have a feature projects based on category view. But later on we figure out that we just need to have one, because the feature projects can be searched by using the same function as well. So for this is the implementation of the function for the search function, and it get the address and get the request query and store those information to these two values, and use the mongoose function find to find using the value and filter. And we should use regular expression matching because we don't want to make any error. And if there is any matching result, the backend will also print out those projects as shown here. So what I did was search project that has a title, name, career, and then this backend system will tell us all the projects so that we can know are we querying the right thing or are we doing the wrong thing. This makes it easier for the backend side to know if the function works or not. And also this two data that we get from the database will then return back to the front end side as a data, so that the front end can interpret this database information and to show it on the web to let users see.
Hi, let's continue with my presentation. So looking at the full stack, both side, back end and front end. So I also, besides working on the front end and back end team, I also try to compile all components in the front end side by using the Redux. So for example, in this case, we can see the header component can connect with the side component. Before successfully logging into the system, header component just have 3 buttons here, right? So, but after that, after the user successfully logging into the system, you can see the header have more components, or as well as the button here, so that the whole Redux compile the header component and side component. This is the theory for the Redux, and now actual code in the project. So for example, here you can see in the side component. So after successfully communication with the backend, successfully log into the system, I always try to split the button, and then I try to dispatch the store check login into the global. So that's why the Redux will store this status for the global action. So after that, the store check login gonna be true, right? And Redux will store this true status for the check login. You can see here, right? So the check login now stay in the global store and have the value equal true. So in the header component, it always retrieve the status of check login from the global global store, right? So that's why in this case, check login equal true. And after that, it's going to be applied immediately for its component. In this case, you can see when check login equal true, it's going to be show the portfolio that you can see here, or project, or home button here. So, and before that, before the successfully login into the system, check login equal 4, right? And whenever the check login equal 4, it's going to be show this part. So that means it just have the register and home button. As you can see, when I log out here, so you can see here, right, just the icon button, register and home for the check logins for the component. So that is the way the Redux apply for all components in our project. And for the backend as well, the communication between the front end and backend side, I using the Asus method call from the front end side and using the Express API framework for the backend side. As well as you can see here, I call whenever login into the system, I try to call the Asus method here, right, and pass the email and password I guess from the user, the field here, right. And in the backend side, I use Express API. In this case, I use the REST method, right, to get the URL from the front end side, whereas the variable as value for email password from the front end side. After that, you're gonna check, is this just like for the valid, right, validation for the email and password, and then check in the database, right, user file one here, just try to check the database, make sure the user email already exist or not. So for example, in this case, user did not exist, right? To check for the user. So that's what. So that means the user did not exist an account and just retry to back to the front end side with the successful, and the message is user did not exist, right? And the same thing for the other case. So this is the way communication up between the front end and the back end side. And for the database, I decide to use, I choose the decoupling way to design database. So I separate three tables for the first thing for the user here. For the user, you're gonna have some information for the user and project here and the common table here. So, and the relation between three tables based on the email or the ID, because it's units, right? For example, the project here, we have the owner email and the email is units. So that's why whenever I want to retrieve every project of this user, I just try to look up the database based on this email, right? So I can get all the project related to this person. So that's the way I try to for the database. And yeah, so that's it for me and as well as for my teammate. And thank you for watching.